Know that people talk about us because of the show, who would date, whatever's happening in our lives. But it's always interesting for me, and I talked about this recently, for me to read the stuff about myself that are just...
You, the game, just made Evelyn Lo's kid, Shanice, disappear. And let's just say that Evelyn is not. Seeing as it's going to be a full-length film when she bursts off, here's the deal, the game. Shanice had been turning heads for a while. At first, it looked like they were really into each other. But if you know Game's history, you know he doesn't exactly have the best track record. When it comes to relationships, he's been known to charm women, make big promises, and then he was out. And unfortunately for Shanice, she became his latest casualty. But here's where it gets messy. Word on the street is the game led her on, made her believe they had a future, and then did a full 180 when things got serious. And get this, he didn't just break things off like a normal person. He went full ghost mode, cutting ties while Shanice was still dealing with everything that came after their relationship. And y'all already know Evelyn wasn't about to sit back and let that slide the moment she got wind of what was happening. She went all in because if there's one thing about Evelyn, she's going to protect her daughter at all costs. Now let's rewind for a second. When the game and Shanice first started dating, people were side-eyeing the whole thing. Some thought it was love. Others thought Shanice was just another name on the game's long list of flings. And honestly, given his reputation, who could blame them? So it looked like the game and Shen's relationship came out of nowhere. One minute he was living his single playboy life, and the next he was all over Shanice. They were spotted together at events, posting mysterious messages on social media and giving fans just enough to think something serious was brewing. But hold up, things started to heat up, or at least that's what Shanice thought the game was. Showering her with attention, making her feel like she was the one he's known for being super charming. And it seemed like he was really turning it on for her private dinners, fancy gifts, and flirty posts that had everyone buzzing. He made sure everyone knew she was on his radar. At first, Shanice was all in. She was glowing, dropping hints that she found something real, and looking genuinely happy whenever she was with Game. But anyone who knew his history could see this was his usual game. He would do the same with other women before giving them just enough attention to feel special, then pulling back when things got serious. And sure enough, as soon as rumors started flying that Shanice wanted to take things to the next level, the game started acting differently. People close to them noticed he wasn't the same. This is where it gets messy, because Game has a rep for being non-committal, and that's exactly what happened here. According to sources, the game gave her the entire forever and always spiel, only to abruptly change things up. At first, he made her believe they were creating something special, but when it came time to take action, he disappeared. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a full-on ghosting. One day they were together, and the next, it seemed like Shanice didn't even exist to him. There was no explanation, no closure, nothing. The game went completely silent, leaving her bewildered, heartbroken, and completely unprepared. Let's face it, this isn't the first time the game has pulled a stunt like this, where he gets involved, makes a woman feel secure, and then he leaves to deal with the fallout. But it got worse for Shaw. Not only was she dealing with the emotional mess of the breakup, but she also had to face public embarrassment. The game didn't just disappear, he started moving on in front of everyone. And if there's anything worse than being dumped, it's being dumped in front of the whole world. People noticed the game out and about, posting pics, hanging with other women, and acting like Shanice was never even in the picture, while she was still trying to figure out what happened. He was back to his usual routine, flirting online, dropping cryptic captions, and making it clear he wasn't looking back. And you know what happens next. When Evelyn found out the game had done her daughter dirty like this, she was not about to let it slide.
Thing I'm finna say. The man posting the baby and not posting you, and you posting the man and not posting the baby, is all I needed to know. The cleanup that Evelyn played on her Instagram, Good job, Grandma. The grandmother's the baby at this point.
Alright, so if you know anything about Evelyn Lozada, you know, she's super protective of her family. She's built a whole reputation for being fierce and not afraid to speak her mind. So when she found out that the game was messing around with her daughter, you just knew she was ready to go off sources. Say Evelyn was beyond furious when she heard how the game treated Shanice. And honestly, can you blame her? Going through a messy breakup is one thing, but getting ghosted like that, especially in front of everyone, that's just straight up disrespect. And Evelyn wasn't about to let that slide. I can assure you that she didn't hold back. Evelyn made it clear that the game picked the wrong person to mess with. She called him out, exposed his shady behavior, and made sure everyone knew she wasn't going to let her daughter be disrespected. Word on the street is that Evelyn went full-on mama bear mode, telling her friends she never trusted the game. From the start, she had a bad vibe about him, but didn't want to interfere in Chen's life since she's an adult. But once things went south, oh, it was game over. She confronted the game, making it clear she wasn't playing around, no pun intended. And you know, Evelyn isn't the type to keep quiet. She made sure to let everyone know what kind of guy he really is, whether it was through shady social media posts or gossip in the industry. Honestly, this whole situation brought back the conversation about the game's habit of stringing women along and then disappearing when it suits him. This isn't new news, but for Evelyn, it was all about protecting her daughter. But wait, there's another angle to this. Some people are saying Shanice knew what she was getting into with the game. Rumor has it, she wasn't just looking for love, she was looking for a come-up. Now, we can't say for sure if that's true, but let's be real, the game has a history of leaving women hanging, and if Shanice thought she'd be the exception, that might have been a bit naive. Some folks think Shanice saw an opportunity. Dating a famous rapper comes with perks, money connections, clout. While it's possible she thought the game was serious about her, it's also likely she knew exactly what she was signing up for, and that's where it gets complicated. Because while the game definitely did her dirty, some people think Shanice was playing her own game too. The entertainment world is full of people trying to secure a bag, and some believe Shanice wasn't just a victim. She was a willing participant who just happened to get burned in the end, just when you thought the drama was cooling off. The game jumped on Instagram and started dropping some pretty wild posts. You know, the kind those vague messages guys throw out when they're feeling guilty, but don't want to own up to anything. Yeah, he was definitely in that zone. One of his first posts was about jobless, entitled women always having something to say when things go south. Like, hold up. Jobless and entitled, who are you talking about? Dude, the timing was way too sketchy for this to be random. Then he followed up with another post about how some women are just in it for the perks. Cars, vacations, gifts. It was emitting strong. I got vibes, and let's be honest, he wasn't being subtle at all. He knew that everyone would assume he was talking about Shanice, so whether he meant to stir things up or not, it definitely got people talking. Some fans applauded him, claiming that he's always been giving in relationships and that perhaps Shanice just wanted too much, while others criticized him for being messy and immature. Come on, this is a grown man, and instead of just walking away quietly, he was out here making fun of a sad team on Instagram. But here's the real deal. Evelyn Lozada wasn't about to let the game make her daughter look like a gold digger. She had her own way of setting things straight. Now Evelyn could easily gone off on the game like she has with past foes, but this time she took a different route. Instead of diving into the drama, she made it clear that her focus was on her family. She hopped on social media and started celebrating the birth of her grandson Blaze Taylor. And let me tell you, she made sure that everyone knew she was in a great place, surrounded by love and blessing. It was like she was saying, you may have dumped my daughter, but we're good over here, and honestly, we love to see it. Because at the end of the day, Evelyn knows how this industry works. She's seen relationships come and go. She's dealt with messy breakups before, and she understands that the best revenge isn't always clapping back. Her message was loud and clear while the game was out here. Sub-posting like a bitter ex. She was focused on what really mattered, her family. And that's how you really win in situations like this. Now let's be real, was the game wrong for how he handled things, absolutely leading someone on, making them feel special, and then disappearing like a magician? That's not a good look, but the question is, was she just an innocent victim in all of this? Or was she playing chess while the game was playing checkers? After all, dating a well-known rapper has its advantages, and some people believe Shanice knew exactly what she was doing from the beginning. At the end of the day, this whole situation is messy, and we know Evelyn isn't going to let it go anytime soon. If the game thought this drama was over, he might want to reconsider. So now I have to ask, was the game at fault, or was Shanice trying to lock in that bag? Do you think Evelyn went too far, or was she just being protective? For all the newest tea, Mama Bear, please leave your opinions in the comments below and remember to like, share, and subscribe.